So how's it going, my comics? I don't know. We're here today with Devin Whitlock, the creator of CyberSync. How you doing, Devin?
Good. Thank you. I'm not the creator of CyberSync. I'm just a writer. I contributed a one-page comic to it.
All right. Sorry about that.
No,
So
it's okay. I get yeah. So maybe we can just focus on the newsletter.
okay.
Say that I created Devin's Chicago Comics Book Club Digest. That's the name of it.
Is that the newsletter?
Yeah.
Where can people sign up for it at?
Substack.
Substack?
Yeah, it's devinwhitlock.substack.com.
Right. Is Substack free to sign up?
Yep. Yeah, it's totally free. You do have to pay for certain bells and whistles, certain privileges. I know it automatically asks people if they if you go to the site and then try and sign up. It'll first ask if you want to pledge. I'm not taking any money. I know some people their newsletter is their whole deal. It's like how they make money. Me, it's just how I promote myself, how I promote the work I do, yeah, and how I get to talk about comics.
That's cool. Is it only for indie comic creators?
Substack?
Yeah, Substack.
Oh no, they Scott Snyder's on there, James Tinian is on there. They actually that's how they broke into as a comics platform. They sent a ton of money to the top creators.
Really, I'm at the. I know I'm subscribed to a couple Substacks, but I haven't actually gone in and looked at the platform or anything.
It's pretty user friendly. It hit some controversy not too long ago because it turned out that there were a bunch of Nazis. Just not even no other way to put it. I think it was the Atlantic uncovered a handful of accounts, but they had hundreds of subscribers, and and Substack was making money off of them basically because they had paid subscribers, and so Substack takes 10% or whatever off of that, and yeah, it turned into a whole thing. A bunch of people left, but I had nowhere else to go, really.
Right, and it probably makes it so much easier to do it through them than it is to manually make a newsletter.
Oh yeah, I've tried MailChimp before, and the interface is not the most user friendly. With Substack, I just copy paste things. I can put images in there. I can schedule things off. I've got a news digest set to go out to. Well, I guess it'll be next week by the time this hits. But yeah, I had a newsletter actually just last Friday too.
Nice. So do you release a newsletter every week or?
A couple times a month. It is kind of labor intensive. I got a lot of stuff going on. Generally, so I help run the Chicago Public Library's Comics Book Club. And so we meet every third Wednesday at a bar in Portage Park here in Chicago. I have to clarify. Usually, if I say that I help run the comics book club at the library, people think for kids. But then if I say adult comics, people think it's porn. So I got.
It's crazy where people's minds go.
Yeah, But so we meet the third Wednesday of every month, and then the Friday after that, I post, here's what we read, here's what we discussed, here's the, and I usually have a little essay, to sort of tie it in. This month, I had some thoughts on music and comics because we read Scott Pilgrim. Last month we read Always Never, and so I had some thoughts on The Ones Who Got Away. got a little personal with lost love stories and romance and stuff.
The one thing that drives me nuts about comics is I don't think like nudity and comics should go together. Like a
Hmm.
lot of people just like shoe in boobies just to have boobies, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. Like I read comics because I enjoy the story and like want to see like action adventures and not a bunch of cartoon naked people, you know? So
Yeah, it has its place, I'd say. I mean, Vampirella is just a perfect, camp example. I remember Comic Tropes had a thing. It was, Vampirella, what is her appeal? And I felt like the thumbnail just answered the question.
yeah, I think I think she just had her 666th book.
Nice.
Yeah, like she's been going a while. She's creator owned, right?
I believe so. Yeah. Yeah, because not only has she been around a while, but she's like jumped a couple of uh, publishers, I think. And then they had all those Archie crossovers, which was hilarious.
Yeah, I think Archie's got a crossover with everybody. You
I mean,
know?
once Archie faces off against the Predator, where else can you go?
Yep. And back to Vampirella really quick. She has a ridiculous amount of variants.
Really?
Yeah, the
Oh
one
man.
I just seen one. It is issue one had 101 different variants.
Oh
That's
man.
ridiculous.
I can't. How did that? Like, as a retailer, what do you do with that? Like, that's just. I mean, I hear that there's like some money to be had by like some places. They'll just order them and then just flip them on eBay because that's the only way they make any money off of them. I
We was talking about that, like the incentives, like the 1 in 25, 1 in 50, 1 in 100. That none of these books are going to be worth anything in
yeah.
100 years because there's like 100,000 copies of cover A just laying around so people could get that incentive.
Yeah, well, that's how the bottom fell out of the speculator market in the '90s. It was crazy how we're repeating the same mistakes. I think I tried to explain that to a non-comics person, and they were just stunned. Like, it's like
Yeah, I think it's funny when like non-comic people see a comic book bag and boarded. They think that like, you can't touch it. You're not supposed to take it out of the package. Yeah, that whole that whole stereotype of keep it in the package and in 20 years it'll be worth something. You can retire from
uh,
that one book or that one action figure or what
those
have you.
days are gone. I can't, unless you have a time machine and can find Action Comics #1. That's just not good.
Yep. Um. So what books are you coming out with this year?
Yeah, so I've got the Cybersync anthology that's published by Apollo City Comics. They ran Kickstarter back in October. The whole thing funded in less than 12 hours. It was,
Nice.
yeah. I was on vacation at the time too, so I'm just like seeing my phone ping while I'm like in Japan and Thailand. I'm like, oh wow, this is great. I wish I could do something.
How was how was Thailand and Japan? Was it pretty cool?
Oh, it was beautiful. Yeah, amazing. Yeah, didn't have a bad meal the entire trip.
Yeah, I would love to go over there, but I think my problem would be I want to buy everything
Yeah.
because the things they have over there is way different than what we have over here.
Oh, that's the thing that I love about like the breadth of genres in just regular old manga. It blows Western comics out of the water. They have whole manga just devoted to making manga, or like painting, or sports. I love like sports comics, and they're so hard to find here. But like manga, you could fill a warehouse.
Yeah, and they're cheap too.
Oh yeah, I picked up like the an issue of Shonen Jump. It's like a phone book size
Yeah.
digest. Like I uh, I think it was like 250 yen. It came to like $3. It was.
Oh yeah. What Comic Cons you gonna be at this year?
So I've got C2E2 coming up next month. I'm just going to be wandering around, but I am going to post all the panels that I hope to attend to my newsletter. So keep an eye out on that. I got waitlisted for a panel, so we'll see how that turns out. I'll know by the end of March if we make the cut for the final schedule. Uh, but then I'm sending out that same panel to New York and San Diego. So hopefully, one of those I'll be able to attend this year as well.
I'm so scared to go to New York or San Diego. That big Comic Con, because I feel like all these small ones in a back room somewhere is not going to have that magic because I'm going to the big ones, you know?
Oh no, the magic stays for the small ones. Trust me. We have the Chicago Alternative Comics Expo here in Chicago, and it fits in like a gymnasium, and it's great. It's just perfect. You meet so many creators, like so many different kinds of comics. Like the indie comic scene is so awesome because it's not just the superheroes. It's the like we said, like sports. It's crime. Cyberpunk. Like I've got with the Cybersync anthology coming up. That they stretch the boundaries of form. Like you'll find like die cut comics. You'll find like these 3D sculptures that stretch the what makes comics possible. It's fascinating.
So, Comic Sync isn't your first comic book, right?
Uh, so actually, Cybersync will be my first published comic, but I do have. So I posted a comic to my newsletter called Dead Dreams. It was a one pager. It was set. It was supposed. I submitted to an anthology, got rejected, and so I thought, well, I'll just post it myself.
Right.
I have the whole like I already had the artist and the colorist and the letterer. Like let's just make it anyway.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah. So, what is
uh,
Dead Dreams about?
so it's so the theme of the anthology was someone who has forgotten something suddenly, or someone realizes they've forgotten something. So I took that and I thought, I know so many people like they work their whole lives, they kill themselves with these day jobs, and then they forget the purpose of why they were doing it in the first place. So it's just a one-page comic of this, lone worker in an industrial dystopian hellscape, and they after like 5 tiers of panels just getting more cramped and the work getting more intense, he just looks up and says, "Why am I doing this?"
Yeah. Yeah. So, where do you draw inspiration from?
Oh gosh, that's a great question because I mean it comes from everywhere. You know, I was actually just talking to a friend of mine. I'm still retooling ideas that I had in high school, because I'm finally like getting the chance to put them out there in the world. And it can be tough to find decent like trustworthy collaborators, and and then too the big thing is you have to pay your artists, and yeah, I 100% agree. People deserve to get paid for their work, but for a while there, I was working 3 jobs just to make ends meet. I didn't have anything left over for an artist or a you know submission fees or what have you. Yeah, and now finally, I can actually like pay my artists. I can pay those submission fees. I can go to conventions and network and talk to people and yeah, I feel like I lost the thread there, but yeah, like with the CyberSync, for example, the premise was about neural implants that allow telepathic communication and a shared sensory experience, and that sounded like a nightmare to me. I can't imagine like I love my husband very much. I don't think I would want to be psychically linked so that we're
No, not at all.
experiencing it. Yeah.
No, I don't. The whole cyberlink thing. I think it's going to come to a point where somebody is going to be able to hack them, and it's going to
uh,
be really, really bad of what they find out or what they can do.
oh yeah, that I've worked for a couple of tech startups, and like nobody ever thinks about the worst case scenario. That's always like I feel like that should be like the start. I remember when the internet was first becoming a thing, and you know, oh,
Yeah.
it'll bring people together. It'll bring about world peace, and far from it, as we've seen, 30 or 40 years later,
Oh yeah.
that like nothing short circuits the tech bro, utopian idealism, than thinking what's the worst way this can go wrong. So.
um. So, dead or alive, who would you like to make a comic book with? Your dream team.
Yeah, I've been preparing for this question. I knew it was coming. I I know that like Jack Kirby is like a popular answer to this, but I don't think I could write for Jack Kirby. I think that he had such a singular, unique vision and such outsized personalities and concepts. I wouldn't be able to match that. I think that the for me though, like I know like dozens of great artists online and like through social media and stuff, like Leanna Kangas, Fellhound, Dennis Menier, Laura Helsby, all these people that like I hope to work with them someday though. So I don't want to. So I think that like Dream Team, Bill Sienkiewicz. Uh, was like his work on like New Mutants and Elektra, and like then like the collage work, it almost like it blew my mind. Like it redefined what comics were capable of. I'm like, oh, it can actually be fine art.
Mhm.
Uh, Another one would probably be Jim Steranko back in the '60s. Not Jim Steranko now. He's like gone all like Florida man on social media, but that was another one. I mean, he introduced like pop art to like superhero and spy comics. It was like unheard of. Like again, and he improved the whole art form by leaps and bounds. And then uh, yeah, Howard Cruz and Matt Baker, like they've passed away. Those guys should be household names, in my opinion.
Mhm.
Uh, but then also, I'd want Hassan Atzman Elhau. I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly. Like brilliant critic. I'd want him to letter it. I'd want Jordi Belair to color it, and I want the whole thing to be edited by Shelley Bond. That's yeah, just assembling my dream team for like yeah.
I like it. Is there anything you want to say before we go?
Subscribe to my newsletter. But I, I'm finally learning how to be like more of a shameless self promoter. But that's a skill you need, unfortunately. That one I think was like the one big advantage of social media is that it allowed the introverts to maybe get out of their shells a little bit more. Watching it all collapse, it's almost heartbreaking. But that's more than one last thing. But yeah, my newsletter is the best way. I've also got the Smash anthology, Volume One's currently in pre-launch on Kickstarter, but I've got a 4-pager in Volume Two. Same art as my CyberSync story, David Escobar, lettered by Buddy Bodwin. Again, I hope I'm pronouncing his name correct. I've worked with the guy like 3 times, but I've only ever like seen his name or communicate with him in print.
All right. I appreciate you taking the time to come talk with me.
Absolutely, I appreciate you having me. I love talking about comics. I love talking with people about comics. I love talking about making comics. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
What? You mean you haven't subscribed to Comicchatauthority? Oh, come on, subscribe already. What are you waiting for? It's no big deal. Like, man, don't forget to tell him to hit that like button. Yeah, that too. Just subscribe.